Hey, what's poppin' guys, Sizzyl here, and today I'll be talking about the party game of 2023, Lethal Company. For those who haven't heard about it before, maybe don't know what the game's about, in Lethal Company, what you do is you work for the company, and everyone loves the company. And for that company, you have to hit a quota of profits earned every single time you go on a trip. And in those trips, you visit a bunch of different abandoned planets with factories and mansions and whatever, and try to extract all the loot and salvage the loot that was left over, bring it back to the ship safely, while a bunch of different monsters and stuff that are on those planets try to kill you. And while that basic description might not sound super entertaining and it might not have sold you on this game, this next part is really what brings the game together, and that of course is proximity chat. I don't really know how the developer did this, but it feels like every single thing in this game is set up to make proximity chat as funny as humanly possible. I've had so many different things happen in this game that would have never happened in any other video game, even with proximity chat included, that only really were funny and only really happened because proximity chat is a thing. You can hear your friends approaching you, you can hear your friends walking away from you, you can hear your friends getting dragged away by a monster near you, and it overall leads to a very just hilarious and enjoyable experience most of the time. This game also has a lot of variety. First off, in the items you're able to purchase and use after doing each run. You know, when you hit your quota in the company and the company pays you a bit of money as a thank you for doing your job, you can use that to buy a large amount of items. I think at the moment it's something like 40 or 50 items that all have different multi-purpose but very simple uses, like an extendo ladder that you can use to, first off just reach high places, but second off you can actually use it to cross gaps. You can use it to kill, I think, one or two enemies. There's just a lot of variety in the way these things are used. If you haven't played this game before, I would genuinely recommend not looking up anything about it and just jumping into it blind, because experiencing the different things that these items, and there's also a large amount of variety in the enemies and the levels, experiencing all of that firsthand without knowing any of it ahead of time is definitely the most fun you will have in this game, although even knowing everything about all that stuff still will not make the game any worse. It's just the best time that you'll have playing the game is definitely the starting parts where you know nothing and everything is all new and everything's all funny and a bunch of goofy stuff will happen. Like when me and my friends first bought the jetpack item and we had never seen it or used it before, and we had a bunch of funny stuff happen, like this clip right here, which I'll show you.
Somehow. How the fuck do you control this thing?
Just go up. I don't know.
Fuck that. I can't control that. Someone I'm critical. Well, if you look at my penis, you might be able to see with that thing.
Oh, okay.
Nah, nothing there.
Damn it.
At the point of this review, I've already put in 22.9 hours into this game, and I haven't even gotten close to knowing everything there is to know about it, and the developer's already working on another update to make the game even better. And you might be wondering, what if I don't have any friends to play with? Will proximity chat be as funny? Will I even be able to play the game at all? And the answer is yes. This game, first off, most importantly, has offline play. You can either play LAN or just single player, completely alone. And while that might be a suboptimal experience, it's definitely nice to have the option. I will always applaud a game for being able to be played offline, because that's just a great feature to have. And also, there is a server browser where you can find random groups of people to join. Although from my experience, the people you find are just very weird, and it's definitely a very different and sometimes still very funny, but definitely a very different experience. Like the first ever multiplayer server that I joined off the random server browser, just for the purposes of this video, there was some guy that would not start the game, but instead kept everyone in the lobby while reading out Bible verses in this little stand that he set up for himself. And then one of the later games that I joined, there was just someone hacking in a co-op game versus AI and ruining the fun for everyone, because we literally could not lose. There was no stakes, there was no nothing, and it was a very unfortunate situation, but that's not really the developer's fault. And it's definitely nice to have the community server option, because I have also found groups of people that way to play with that were a very fun time, where we played together for a few hours, and I added one or two of them on Discord to kind of keep playing afterward. With all that being said, you're probably wondering, well, what's the price of all this? It seems like there's a lot of love and care put into it. I didn't mention this because you can just see it on the screen, but the visuals I think are very nice. The cell shading really goes a long way, and definitely helps the atmosphere of this game a lot. But the price of this entire game, this whole full experience. You might be thinking it's like somewhere like, what, $40, $50? And it's not. It's just $10, right? The price of basically one meal here in the US. Just one $10 bill, you skip one meal, you can go play Lethal Company forever. And as I mentioned, if what was in the game already wasn't enough, the developer first off is working on his own updates, and there's always like a weekly random challenge moon or something where there's some special stuff going on that moon. And second off, there is mod support, just pretty openly. It's not through the Steam Workshop yet, unfortunately, but the mod loader is super easy to install, and when you install it, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of mods. This game blew up super hard around the world, and pretty much everyone and their mom started making mods for it. So there's a bunch of really cool mods, one of the best ones being that you can play with more than 4 people, up to like 32, I think. There's a bunch of other mods I played with me and my friends, where we've done a bunch of different custom moons, like a Simpsons-based moon, Mario-based moon. You can turn some of the enemies into Goku or whatever, and it's just a great time, right? It makes it a great game already even better. And in the case of most other games, I wouldn't really mention this because obviously mods make any game better, but in the case of Lethal Company, it's so easy to do, and it's actually openly supported by the developer to the point that you can find modded games on the server browser, and it'll let you know what mod you don't have installed that you need to join them. So I definitely thought it was worth mentioning, and I do think it really adds a lot of extra playtime to this game, and that it's just a good time overall. With that all being said, the positives of this game are many: large amounts of variety, large amounts of fun, proximity chat is hilarious, the game is very fun to kind of explore and learn about, a lot of great mods and mod support, and just the $10 price tag I think is extremely fair. And the only real cons are all tied to community, right? If you don't have any friends to play with, it definitely gets a lot worse. And the community browser being bad is mainly because of the people in it, not really a fault of the developer in any way. And with all that being said, I definitely have to rate this game the coveted 5 out of 5.